This project focuses on the question, why has mental illness been ignored and stigmatized in the African American community? A voluntary survey of 100 African Americans was conducted in which 76% admitted to experiencing a mental health condition, while just 23% said that they would consider therapy. According to the U.S. Office of Minority Health, African Americans are 30% more likely to report having serious psychological distress than other Americans. But why is that? Let's ask an expert.
We face some discrimination, we face different hardships like socioeconomic at greater levels than other groups. And so as a result, that certainly can contribute to depression and different stress, anxiety, all kinds of things. Because at some level, you're doing the best you can, but you're not really given the same opportunities, or having to deal with racism, whether that's institutional, whether that's, overt in your face, where other groups don't necessarily experience it to the same degree that we do. And so it's likely those things can cause mental illness.
Common mental health disorders among African Americans include major depression, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, suicide, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Many African Americans have trouble recognizing the signs and symptoms of these mental health conditions, leading them to underestimate the effects and impact they have over their lives.
There are a lot of reasons why we deal with them, but I think the first part starts out with identifying whether there's an actual mental health concern versus um, a concern that renders a person dysfunctional, which we'll call it a mental health diagnosis. And I think sometimes mental health in the African American community is not properly diagnosed, properly assessed, and I think so many African Americans wait until it's too late to finally get treatment. So the numbers are pretty high for that reason.
85% of African Americans would describe themselves as fairly religious or religious, and that the most common way to handle stress is through prayer.
Sometimes people think that there's a choice between seeking out mental health services and religious affiliation or relying on God. Most of the time, people who indicate or verbalize to their parents or leaders in their community that they need mental health services, their feelings and their thoughts are discounted, and they're simply told to go pray. And there are so many stigmas already attached to being African American, and the last thing a person wants is to have an additional ding as that they're to indicate that they might be weak or that they might be lacking in all of the tools they need to just basically function and manage in life.
A 2008 study found that there are more than one-third of African Americans actively seeking treatment believe talking about their anxiety will lead them to being called crazy by their peers. A quarter of those surveys reported that they didn't feel they could talk about their mental health with family members.
But it's hard for me because if I say anything about depression or use the word anxiety with my family, it doesn't really seem to click. I think they're kind of still on that side of depressed equals sad. And I don't really know if anybody notices it, but I mean, everyone knows I stay in my room, and I just kind of, I've learned to become too comfortable with myself, just in solitude.
For centuries, mental illness has been seen as shameful, dangerous, unpleasant, embarrassing, a weakness of character, incurable, and something to be hidden away without hope of recovery. But it doesn't have to be that way. Many have had great success with therapy.
I'm a big fan of therapy. I think it's nothing wrong with talking to a professional expert that is unbiased, that can just listen to you and give you feedback and encourage you to pretty much navigate through life with better coping mechanisms. Therapy is a big thumbs up for me personally.
Because I've been to therapy at like Georgia Southern, the counseling center, which was definitely, a great experience. But that's like a free service the campus provides or whatever. So like when I get some money, I would definitely like to go to some like for real therapy.
It's okay if you're sad or depressed, if you get anxious, or if you just can't seem to find reason to get out of bed some mornings. Your emotions are valid. You are valid. And there are resources out there to help you feel better. You could visit psychologytoday.com to search for a therapist in your local area, by calling the National Treatment Referral Hotline. Or if you're not ready to see someone face-to-face as of yet, there's online alternatives such as Talkspace, a website where anyone can get therapy via messenger or video chat without having to travel to an office and for significantly less money than traditional therapy. There's no reason for us to keep suffering in silence. We deserve peace of mind just like everyone else.